Gosh, what am I doing? All right. Yeah, so my project was on cycling jacket. I'll take you through the timeline. So at the first, I was faced with decisions, and I really wanted to take welding this semester and maybe do like a custom like steel rack for my van because I'm working I'm building out my van. So something like that. By the way, can you guys see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, something like that you can hang like cocoon hammocks because I got a couple for me and my wife. Then I thought, well, it'd be really cool to take some Arduino classes and learn how to do some sort of LED display that I could even make an app to have like on my phone, and I can hit, like don't tell me or like back off or or maybe just something like nice on the rear window because of the van. Because I mean I don't use the rear windows. I have them, but they're usually covered, so I could put something there. And then I thought about the something a little easier that somebody had already done, the custom horn sounds, which I think I'm still gonna do, but not for this project. Just adding like custom sounds to your horn. But then I wasn't quite convinced with all those, and I decided to go for something related to like one of the things I'm most passionate about, which is cycling. I um, I also want to work in the cycling industry after I graduate, so I decided to do something along those lines out of like the manufacturers are here close by. One of them is Pearl-Zumi, and they make like high-end, cycling clothes. So I wanted it to be packable because I have some jackets, and they're just I can pack them in my fanny pack. Which yes, you do right with fanny packs, mountain biking. But they're not as small as this. I wanted to do something like this. Obviously, there are products out there that do this already, but I wanted to go through the process since it's a skill of like learning how to sew and all those things. So once I chose that, then I was like, okay, well, what is the aesthetic? Like, yeah, the function is, being packable and like shielding against the elements in case there's like a spring storm or something. One of them was the MTB, so the mountain bike aesthetic, which usually involves flannels or flannels or fox shirts, things like that. That's pretty popular. Another one was a roadie aesthetic, so there's like the tight, fitting, kind of more aero looking, espresso looking articles of clothing. And then when I was in the alternatives, then I was like, okay, well, what about something just crazy and poppy and something that just gets your attention going when you're going down the trail? And I was like, well, the 80s surely did that. And I specifically like this guy over here with a bunch of different random um, lines and shapes and all that. But even then, I still wasn't super convinced. I am not super good at sewing, and so I was actually trying to back out and do something different. And then I talked to Professor Hertzberg, and she encouraged me, and she gave me some ideas of using like maybe fabric paint, which I hadn't thought about. So you can actually, because I was like, how am I going to sew all those patterns on and all that kind of stuff? But then she said I could make maybe, a shirt or something or the jacket and then use paint to portray an aesthetic. And so I started thinking of what is an aesthetic that I would want to go for. And then I started digging through the movements, actually, kind of more the artistic side as opposed to the functional side. I saw a bunch of them, and one of them was symbolism, and the other one was action painting that kind of caught my attention. Symbolism is using common, things that people know. Like obviously that's a target, and that's the dove refers to peace. So that's like the war on peace. And action painting is just like when people, throw paint or dribble it or punch it or whatever. I thought those two were pretty cool to integrate into the functionality of the jacket. And then I started digging through fabrics and like going to shops and like there's like 3 of them in Boulder that are like high-end fabrics. And then I found out that what I would be probably using would be some sort of like Pertex like nylon blend for it to be like really packable. This one's called Pertex Quantum Air Fabric, and it's really tight woven 2 sheets, like 2 different fabrics. So I think the thicker ones go inside and like closer to you, and the thinner ones go away, like on the outer part of you. That way the wind doesn't get in, but then you can also have good ventilation. But then as I was touching them and feeling them, I was like, the paint's not gonna go soak into these guys and stay on. So I was like, well, then how am I gonna do the aesthetic? So then I didn't want to compromise the aesthetic. I do want to do this, and I know I will. Like once I get better at it, I'm gonna make a jacket. But I pivoted a little bit to making a jersey. So something still related to cycling, but then I can still do my aesthetic. So I thought the action painting would go on the back of the shirt or the jersey. And I just wanted to kind of splash it. Like whenever you're riding through mud, it just kind of kicks up and then hits you. But instead of like just brown or black on the back, I was going to do a bunch of colors and just like throw them at it and make it look like it's like I just rode through a rainbow. and then the symbolism would be in the front. I was thinking, something along the lines like, love biking, or something like that. And then here are the patterns that would be made to make the shirt. So I started practicing because me and my wife own a sewing machine, so that's nice. I don't have to go to the Attila to sew. And then I started practicing with my dog. Actually, I went and bought some cheap fabric that I could just practice with. I measured my dog, and I started making some patterns for a shirt for him. And you can see how I was sewing it, and that's how it turned out. So pretty good. But then once I put it on him, then it was kind of tight around the shoulders and his back. You can see right here how tight that is. It fit, on the chest and the tail, so it was all good. And he did not mind wearing it, but I could just feel it just kind of tight right around here. So I just need to work on. I did see a video online on how to clone your clothes, so how to make patterns out of your own clothes. So I think I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna take like a jersey that I already have that fits me really well, and start making shirts for me, and so for the project. But yeah, he's been a good model, and I'll probably make him something else too. And yeah, timeline and the logistics of it has been delayed by COVID-19. Everybody knows. But I assume now that we have a lot of time in our hands, like I'll have plenty of time to practice and, checking along. But yeah, that's my presentation. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. All right, let's start off with some statements of meaning.
I love you're going through the rainbow. I think that's awesome.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Are you going to do like neons or like matte colors or, like pastel rainbow colors? Like what kind of rainbow are you feeling?
Yeah, I might do the neon just to bring in that aesthetic about the really poppy, like 80s kind of aesthetic. So I might try to throw some wild colors on it.
Are you, for the back, are you just planning on just going like totally ham on it?
Well, I'm gonna stick to this. So like I'll grab like, I guess I'll dip in some brushes and different colors, and I'm gonna stick to doing this motion of like throwing from down to up and in a straight line, which would replicate you going through mud. Obviously I wouldn't do it sideways or just splash it, because that's not the pattern that it makes.
I don't know if we're allowed to do like suggestions yet, but I had a thought when you were talking about that about, have you ever heard of kinetic painting?
Mm.
So if you want to do a little more fun, elaborate version of this motion, I was like thinking if you had like a shitty bike or just some kind of thing you necessarily didn't care about as much, you could actually put paint on your tires and then ride your bike
Yeah,
across your shirt essentially.
that would be cool. I am getting rid of some. I'm about to change my mountain bike tires for the season, so yeah, I got some tires to spare. I probably wouldn't put them on the wheel. I'd probably like hold the tire and like roll it or something.
Yeah, I mean that'd probably be a smart idea, but I'm thinking how can you incorporate the mountain or at least a biking aesthetic that's a noticeable symbol on the shirt. So instead of just saying like, splatter, like I can immediately see that it's biking.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah.
You could also use the bike tire as sort of a paintbrush to splatter it. So the rotation of it will throw some paint off, and you'll have the exact same pattern you would as if there were mud on a spinning tire flinging off.
Yeah. Because they do have a very particular pattern opposed to just splatter paint.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that'd be really cool. I like that idea.
All right. Do you have any questions for us?
Let's see. So, I guess maybe, do you guys remember, I've been trying to search for it, but from that presentation we had from, I forgot her name, but the stuffed animal that she made.
Emmy, I think?
Yeah, did you remember what this stitching was called? That really nice, like, stitching that on the inside of the fabric? Because she said she went through 3 steps, and one of them was that, the inside stitching. So like this fabric is not just hanging out, because right now like this is the inside out and this is regular, so the outside looks good, but the inside has all, like, you can see the two fabrics right there.
I remember she had a specific name for it, and I don't remember what it was. I'm sure she'd be happy to talk about it again, though.
Yeah, I might shoot her a message.
All right.
Are you gonna hand sew, or are you gonna have a sewing machine?
What was the question?
Are you gonna hand sew or use a machine?
The machine, for sure.
Okay.
I have no idea how to hand sew, but I do know how to use the machine a little bit.
Do we have any other neutral questions?
I have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Can definitely check out Pinterest, because Pinterest will have like templates and like all sorts of like information about stitching and all that kind of stuff. Just like help you out. Like if you want like a if you want like a shirt template, like definitely check out Pinterest, because they probably even have printables. You could print it out like life size.
Okay, sweet. I'll check it
One more. If you are still planning on doing something like a icon or even like some kind of pattern on the front, that you wanted to be like a little cleaner. I don't know exactly, but I bet if you looked into, like they have like those iron-on graphics. I don't know
where they like print it.
if a shirt would be the right material for that, but I'm sure online there's just like bulk pattern iron-ons.
You know where I could get it printed though?
I don't know where. I bet if you looked online, I could try to look and put it in the chat. But like I think iron-on graphics would probably be a lot easier than trying to manage paint.
Yeah, definitely.
It might last a longer too, especially if you like wash it.
Right, and what I was thinking of doing originally, but I don't know, because we don't have access to laser cutters. I mean, we might through the Idea Forge, but I was thinking of
Idea Forge was closed.
cut out, and just like paint over the thing and then have it like that. But
The Idea Forge is closed.
is it completely closed? Because I thought that I talked to Victoria and they said they were gonna have limited access.
I think it's limited access for like specifically senior design and grad design.
Yeah.
They don't really give access to anything else because they're prioritizing those 2 things. But in any case, Let's go ahead and move on really quickly to permissioned opinions so that we can continue going in the interest of time. Do we have any permissioned opinions?
Oh, we already did that. But yeah.
Did we? Oh, let's just move on then.
You guys